Go ahead, you guys. Go ahead, Randy.
Matt, I mean, just talk about the defense tonight, what they did to take so much advantage of your defense.
Yeah, I mean, you tip their hat. I think the quarterback is really, I mean, Dylan's as talented as anybody we've played against. And, we've played against some great quarterbacks here and some great quarterbacks in this conference. But, boy, I just feel like the veteranness of a guy that's been in this system now for a long time and really confident with his playmakers, really confident, in the scheme, and he played like an elite quarterback tonight. And their playmakers made some big plays down the field. They certainly got some guys, and our precision and detail wasn't great. And, when you put all that together, you kind of get some of the production that you saw tonight. So you got to remember, you look on the field for the Cyclones, and there's a lot of young pups out there. And I give our kids a lot of credit. I don't feel like I thought they practiced really well this past week. But again, playing big in the moment and having to be a lead in the moment. We continue to learn a lot about ourselves, and you got to continue to grow forward. But you tip your hat certainly to Dylan, and you certainly tip the hat to some of the playmakers who made some great plays.
You guys had a lot of success offensively through that first quarter, and then not as much the rest of the way. What did Oklahoma do to slow you down?
Yeah, first of all, I think there were some positives in a lot of ways. You feel like some guys emerged tonight, which was huge for us offensively. I thought the offensive line maybe played their best game, of the season. And, I think the biggest thing, again, you look at how some of the things happened, a little bit in the second half, and maybe even at the end of the first half. You can't turn the ball over. We do that twice. Obviously early in the game, and then right before half, and those are killers, especially against an offense like this. And then second, I think when you look at the reality of like just the detail, and we talked about winning third down, and I think early in the game we were really good on third down. And as the game went, we didn't help our defense out very much. We didn't help ourselves offensively, being able to sustain some drives. So, again, we'll look and see why that happened, but. Again, some mixed reviews on that side of the ball, but I thought some really great things that we can grow on too along the way as well.
What did you learn? I'm talking about the offensive side of the ball now. The run versus pass situation, pass versus run, however you want to say it, about both aspects of that today.
Well, like I said, you're growing up, and that doesn't happen like that. It happens, one game at a time, one day at a time. And, again, you saw Sama really kind of have some big opportunities. You saw Eli Sanders and Cartavius. And, honestly, even Rocco had as the frustration of obviously the 2 picks can't happen. But, boy, there were some big-time plays in some critical moments, too. And then you're talking, I know I've said this a million times, but it's a brand-new center. It's a brand-new left tackle. You're playing with there's a freshman right guard, and you kind of see that group starting to really grow together. You got a freshman tight end, so there's a lot of youth across the board on this Iowa State team, and that's not an excuse, it's a reality. And the fact of the matter of it, we weren't as good as we needed to be tonight, but there was some great growth tonight as well.
Is that the pass opening the run?
Well, I think in some way, shape, and form, but I think, again, the ability to be multiple, we've talked about that a million times here.
Mm-hmm.
The ability to build multiple, not just have the ability to sit and do one thing. I think that was big. I thought we really mixed and matched in the football game really well early, but, like we said, some failed third downs in the second half certainly didn't help you.
Coach, you guys allowed 3 or 4 plays of about 40 yards through the air. That's been a little bit of an issue for you guys throughout the season. Can you explain how you fix that moving forward?
Yeah, I don't per se know if it's a schematical issue as much as it is, man, you got to make a play on the ball issue. And, I think a couple of those, at least tonight, it was a 50-50 ball, and their guy had the ability to make the play. And so, again, it's an area for us that we just got to continue to pound away at. I think that's that's football in general. You got to be able to make plays, in the moment, and we didn't make enough of them in the moment tonight when we had the opportunity to do it.
It seemed like there were fewer substitutions on the offensive line. I know Jake coming back in a few weeks maybe changed that. Do you like those 5 guys, what they're able to do?
Yeah, I at least it'll be interesting to watch the film, before I just say it. But I feel like that group, it was in the best groove that I've seen that group in a long time. And, you know, again, a lot of improvement. That's as talented as a group as we played, really good veteran front. And so to be able to kind of go toe-to-toe with those guys at times tonight, you know, there were some positives certainly from that group for sure.
Coach, I was wondering, you guys need to generate more pass rush to make things easier on that.
Boy, we have to. I mean, you got to have the ability to affect the passer. We didn't. It was at times like 7-on-7 tonight watching. So we got to do a better job of it. We got to continue to find our answers. And again, you know, we've got guys that got the ability to do it, but we got to play better, and they got to be able to help that secondary out at times for sure.
Coach, you touched on Oklahoma's defense. Could you talk a little bit more about where they are now versus maybe where you've seen them?
Yeah, you know, I'll say this: Coach Venables, we know, is a great defensive football coach. I think again they had some good additions on the defensive front, you know, this year, and you know across the board they're multiple, and they're going to make you work. And you know, so a lot of respect for what he does and certainly what they do schematically.
What'd you see on the punt block?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was an error. It was an error by our right up back, and you know he was one count off, and you know they were late subbing, and I think we instead of getting our count right, man, I think we kind of panicked and tried to go fast, and so we're just off a count by one of our up backs. So credit to them, but it was kind of a goofy situation. It was a substitution deal. It was late. I wish we would have had a little bit more poise and got our count right. We didn't.
What did you see from Rocco? Obviously, opens the game with an interception. How did you see him adjust to the environment throughout the game?
Yeah, you know, I you know, what a if you're humble enough to take what you learned tonight, and there were some great moments. You know, he throws the pick six, he comes right back, and goes right down the field. We score a touchdown and make it 7-7. Then it goes 14-7. He comes right back. Man, we make it 14-14. And so, you know, I thought he really did a great job in the first half in the moment. I don't know how he was in the second half. We're going to have to look at it. You know, I think he was a little bit off, and you know, these are growth opportunities for a young guy like Rocco. But what I do love is the first guy leading on that sideline the entire night was Rocco Beck, and whether he was leading the defense or leading the offense, that guy was the first guy speaking, and that's what leaders do. They lead when it goes really well, and they lead when it doesn't go well, and I appreciate that about Rocco. He'll grow and get better. I've got great faith in Rocco Beck and really proud of him so far.
Coach, on Tuesday, John Haycock talked a little bit about how their pace would stress your guys' defense. In the first half, I think they ran about 40, 41 plays. Do you feel like that really put some stress on your guys' defense?
No, I think winning on first down stresses our defense, and we didn't do a very good job of that. You know, I mean, tempo is tempo and pace is pace, but like the reality of it is, you know, you got to be able to win on first down, and we didn't do a very good job. I don't know how many times tonight we got them into second and long. I think when you look at the videotape, when we did, you know, we had successful series as a defense, and when it was 2nd and 2, it's really hard to play good defense that way. So, you know, again, you know, going back to how do you play good defense, man, you got to do a great job on first down. We just didn't do a good enough job tonight.
Anything further?
Yeah, Matt, you hurt him over the middle early in the game, short and long.
Yeah.
Was that something you saw and they just shorted up somehow, or?
Yeah, you know, I think, you know, their adjustment in the second half was to bring more pressure, and they were able to do that, and part of that pressure was through the edges, and, you know, I thought their adjustment was really good. You know, I thought our inability at times to handle some of that, especially in the running game in the second half, you know, put us into some second and long situations. So, you know, just honestly the same thing I was talking about with our defense. I thought they did that well in the second half. They got us into some second and long situations, and we really did a great job in the first half getting ourselves into some second and short situations to be able to use the entire field. And we didn't do as good a job in the second half for sure.
Thank you, Coach.
Yeah, thank you guys.